Hello, good morning. I want to assume that we are fine, just like we have been, together with the people at home. So welcome to today's lesson, the ending part or the last part of our topic of tissue respiration. Last time we ended when we had seen the alternative respiratory substrates. Alternative to mean that if carbohydrates are not broken down in the body, we can have breakdown of lipids, we can have breakdown of proteins. So we saw how they enter the respiratory pathway to bring about liberation of energy. Today we want to move on and we look at what we call respiratory quotient. Respiratory quotient, RQ. Now remember, when we were looking at respiration, we said that it involves the use of oxygen, that is if it is aerobic, and no oxygen if at all it is anaerobic. This means that oxygen may or may not be used. But at the same time, among the products, we saw that carbon dioxide is given off as one of the products of respiration. That is why for a molecule of glucose undergoing aerobic respiration, that one molecule of glucose undergoing aerobic respiration is broken down, liberating energy. In addition, there is carbon dioxide and water, just like we can see from that equation there. This therefore means that in respiration aerobic, we may have oxygen used and carbon dioxide liberated. Therefore, the ratio of the volume of carbon dioxide liberated to the volume of oxygen used during respiration is what we are calling respiratory quotient. It is the ratio of carbon dioxide liberated to the volume of oxygen used during respiration. That is why we simply calculate it from that expression, carbon dioxide output over oxygen intake. Take an example of that equation. For a glucose molecule, we have 6 moles of oxygen. We also liberate 6 moles of carbon dioxide from that balanced equation. Therefore, carbon dioxide released or liberated are 6 moles. Oxygen used, there are also 6 moles. Therefore, the RQ becomes 1. Because 6 moles divided by 6, we end up getting 1. So that becomes the RQ, or the respiratory quotient. Meaning for aerobic respiration of glucose, RQ is 1. But remember that in the body, it is not only oxygen. It is not only carbohydrates that are respired. We also talked of lipids. We also talked about the proteins. Meaning that the RQ of lipids and proteins is different from that of carbohydrates. Like we're going to see, lipids or fats have or give an RQ of 0.7 generally on average. They give an RQ of 0.7, while proteins give an RQ of 0.9. In fact, we are going to see under the importance of RQ. Why should we calculate RQ? What is the use of RQ? We are going to see when we come to the importance of RQ is that it indicates or it shows the substrate which food is being respired. When we calculate and get an RQ of 1, that means carbohydrates, particularly glucose, is being respired. When we get an RQ of 0.7, that means fats are being respired. But when we get an RQ of 0.9, That means that proteins are being respired. Therefore, RQ shows us the type of food that is being respired. However, we're also going to see that different organisms are active at different times or periods. There are organisms which hibernate or rest. When an organism is hibernating, what is hibernation? Hibernation is a state of dormancy of an organism, a state of inactivity of an organism during extremely cold conditions. During extremely cold conditions. Many organisms during winter, because during winter it is very cold. So during winter they undergo what we call hibernation. They become inactive. They become dormant. So in winter we say hibernation takes place. On the other hand, we have what we call estivation. Estivation. Estivation is the opposite of hibernation. Estivation is a state of dormancy, a state of inactivity, a state of reduced activity during conditions of extremely high temperatures. Like during summer, there are particular organisms that become inactive. Therefore, we say they have undergone estivation. Now, coming back to RQ, we're saying that there are animals that hibernate, become inactive, dormant during winter. For them, their RQ ranges between 0.8 and 0.9. But remember, we've seen that the RQ of fats is 0.7. The RQ of proteins is 0.9. Now, when we see an RQ of 0.9 or 0.8, one may think that the respiratory substrate are the proteins. But we are saying that in hibernating animals, when we see an RQ of 0.8 or 0.9, it usually indicates to us that it is a mixture of lipids and carbohydrates being respired. Remember, carbohydrates have an RQ of 1. Lipids have an RQ of 0.7. So the average of the two, 0.7 and 1, is basically around 0.8. That is why we are saying that an RQ of 0.8 in hibernating animals indicates that it is a mixture of carbohydrates and lipids being respired, not necessarily proteins. So this applies in those animals that are respiring. However, we are also going to see that RQ indicates the type of respiration taking place. The type of respiration. We may have respiration that is purely aerobic. We may also have respiration that is purely anaerobic. We may equally have respiration which is partially aerobic and partially anaerobic. Partial. Some aerobic is occurring, but some anaerobic is also taking place. Now, RQ indicates the type of respiration occurring, whereby organisms that have or carry out complete aerobic respiration, in other words, using only oxygen, their RQ values are very low. Therefore, lower RQ values may indicate aerobic respiration. But RQ values that are high, usually greater than 1, indicate partial anaerobic respiration, meaning anaerobic is coming in. Why? Because if respiration tends towards becoming anaerobic, partial anaerobic, that means little oxygen is being used. but the much carbon dioxide will be given out. Remember, RQ is a ratio of carbon dioxide liberated to oxygen used. Therefore, when we have a higher value up, numerator, and we have a lower value down, the denominator, the value that we get, the RQ, will be greater than 1. But if we have completely aerobic, much oxygen being used, therefore its RQ values will be lower than 1. However, we may have a mixture of aerobic and anaerobic, like I've explained, that is the partial anaerobic respiration. The values will be greater than 1. Therefore, what is the importance of RQ? Like we have noted, 1, it indicates the type of respiration taking place. I think we've explained. Aerobic respiration, RQ values are lower. Anaerobic or partial anaerobic, RQ values are higher. Equally, a mixture of aerobic and anaerobic respiration gives RQ values that are relatively higher. Then RQ shows how efficient a substrate is in liberating energy. Remember, when we look at the carbohydrates compared to proteins, carbohydrates are more efficient in liberating energy, but they have an RQ of 1. Proteins have an RQ of 0.9. Therefore, the higher the RQ, the more efficient is the substrate in generating energy. Then it shows the substrate respired, like we have already seen, 0.7 lipids, 0.9 proteins, 1, those are carbohydrates. So that is about RQ and the factors, and the importance of RQ.